there, Pisces. Welcome to your October 2023 tarot reading. It's Rena here. Just shuffling the cards after doing a couple of readings. Don't want to pick the same cards. It's so funny. One time I was doing a tarot reading and I had to start over again, and it was at a time when I didn't have, it wasn't, I just like started the reading with all the cards on the table, and somebody wrote, it would be good to see you putting out the cards. It's kind of sketchy, and sometimes I think about that when I'm, putting out the cards. I thought it kind of amused me. It didn't really offend me too much. I thought that was kind of funny. It was a Taurus. It was for a Taurus video, by the way, just an FYI. The heart of the matter is the Knight of Wands. This is a card. This is associated with Sagittarius, probably why they have that horse in the background. I associate it with Aries, but both of those are fire signs, and Wands is fire. So, my woke deck that has, diversity in images, including women in traditionally male roles. That's the only thing that really, rubs against me. As a woman, I would love greater representation sometimes, but not when it's, because I think of the male energy, but whatever, because it's okay. But the funny thing about it is that this can be a card of someone who is is hard to commit, doesn't want to commit. So it's kind of that wild energy. That's why I say I feel that it should be a male, because women, even women who are freewheeling, I just think it's within women to naturally want to commit to a relationship a lot more than men. That's what I would say. So that's my biggest beef with that particular card being a female. But yeah, I mean, it could be. I mean, so I just want you to know this could be a male that you're dealing with, specifically a Sagittarian. And some of you, I know a couple where one person is a Pisces and one is a Sagittarian. You're both mutable signs, but Sag and Pisces form a square. There's an irritation factor. And both me and my partner are Sages, and he has a friend who's a Pisces. And he goes, I know that I irritate him, because just how we have certain differences, even as we have certain similarities. But there's an attraction for sure with those two signs. And Aries is adjacent to you, so that could be it too. But I think, and even like a female Pisces, let's say you got divorced recently, you may be feeling like, yeah, I'm on the market. I'm going to sow my wild oats. I'm going to just enjoy my freedom. That could be what the Knight of Wands represents to you. In the past position, we have the Eight of Wands. So yes, things moving, getting a lot of offers. Maybe this is, either with your love life, a lot of people wanting to date you, or when it comes to job offers, when things were stagnant before. And so that makes you feel that kind of energized feeling. Well, it's funny that the higher message is the Seven of Cups, because this card is actually connected to Neptune, which is your ruler, which you may have all these offers, but it's like which one to pick. And you see that snake in the front, that's in under one of the cups. It's showing this is a card to symbolize that all that glitters isn't gold. And so if you're getting a lot of offers, like glowing job offers, after you had a dry spell, or after there was some reason why you couldn't do things, you were in some kind of limbo state, and now all of a sudden everything is just flowing. It may be tempting because you feel like, oh my gosh, I need to work now, that you take the brightest, shiniest object. But you really have to investigate to see if it is what it claims to be. And same with relationships. Maybe you were in a marriage for 20 years and you're like, oh, thank God that's over. And so you're just happy to date, but are you dating someone that you really know their character? Or are you just trying to have a good time? But that could, especially for a Pisces, that could lead to problems because you're a water sign. You tend to get emotionally attached quickly. So it makes sense for Pisces people to kind of be very cautious about jumping into relationships because you know that you're particularly susceptible to, being vulnerable. What crosses you is the Six of Swords. This is a card of choosing peace and leaving behind, chaos and disorder, whatever. This is also a card of relocation. So if you're the type of person who is like, oh, I'm never going to move from this area or what have you, that can limit your choices if it has to do with jobs. And so you might want to reconsider that. But also, this is a perfect example. Like I used the example of somebody who had been married for 20 years and they're divorced and they're feeling that exhilaration of freedom. Now, this might have not been your initial response if you were not the one who initiated the divorce. So if you're someone who didn't want to get divorced and yet the other person initiated it, at the beginning you may have felt sadness. You may have felt sadness even if you did initiate it. But the thing is that you may have felt peace because perhaps you were in this constant conflict with that person. So the point being that when the conflict is over with, you would think that the person would be relieved. But sometimes there's something within, I think this is true with all of us, where we're away from conflict. And yet if we're used to it, if it stems from childhood, this kind of constant drama, it can be hard to be comfortable with peace because it's so wired into us to expect that something is going to happen, and we're almost like constantly waiting for the other shoe to drop. Whereas when there's a constant crisis, it's like your nervous system gets used to be totally jangled. It's like if somebody grows up in the city and they're always hearing noises and they go out into the country, it can be great for their well-being, but they might be like, I can't hear myself think because it's too quiet. It could be something like that. So just pay attention to those kinds of things. What's coming in is the King of Wands. This is a card of stepping into your power. I love the King of Wands. To me, it's the minor arcana version of the Magician card. I don't know if it's connected to Leo with that lion in the background, but it's the Wands element is fire. Fire is autonomous, so it is independent. It's creative. It's your career, but your career can be creative, meaning that you are co-creating your career. I think, now that I think about it, because I was always thinking about what's the difference between the 6th house and the 10th house. And I kind of would say, well, the 10th house is the glory, it's your success. It could be the type of career you have. But the sixth house is the work. It's the day-to-day drudgery of, actually doing something. Now I'm thinking that a job is something that you're doing to fulfill someone else's dreams. A career is something that you're doing to fulfill your own dreams. And you're creating it. You're not just working when you're usually working for someone else, you're creating it. But even when you work for somebody else, you can be a co-creator, because if you have enough autonomy within that structure of working for someone else. The problem is when you feel very controlled by someone else, that it can be problematic. So with the Knight of Wands, maybe you have quit a job that no longer serves you, and you feel this sense of freedom and the exhilaration of freedom, and you are trying to find your way. And I believe with the King of Wands is that you're going to step into your power, and then the outcome is the King of Cups. You are cups, being a water. You see all the water images, and guess what? Look at that. Fish, baby. Is this card connected to Pisces? Well, Pisces is the last water sign. The king, so we have the King of Fire and the King of Water. The King of Passion and the King of spiritual power. So creativity and spiritual power. This may play into any kind of business that you start, or that you are, finding success in, getting a job offer for. But you get to be at the top of your game. That's the bottom line. So you feel self-empowered, whatever it is that you're doing. With relationships, the combination of passion and love. So that can be very satisfying or gratifying. Okay, Pisces, that's what I have for you. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, I'm primarily an astrologer, so I do have a lot of astrology readings for topics like love and career. I just recently added one for children. Like, I don't do readings for minors, but I do readings for looking at a child's astrological chart to see their personality type, to see what their talents are, and maybe what some of the challenges are, so that you can learn to understand your child better, or a child that you are dealing with a lot with. And but I have all kinds of astrology readings. I have a special, an hour of natal chart analysis, an hour of transits as a package deal, $85.85 US dollars. That's called my deep dive. I have one with the tarot as well, and I have the deep dive plus the tarot, full-length tarot reading called the whole enchilada. These are package deals, so they're a lot cheaper than if you buy them individually. But as I stated, I have standalone readings as well. You can find out more information at the link below. I'm at RainaMoonAstrology.com. Thank you for watching. Bye.